This show is part of the RetroZap.com podcast network.
And welcome everybody to another special episode of the Animaniacast.
Frera Warner, what's that mean? Keep it clean. Yakko is a yakker, Wacko is a snacker. Dot's plain cute, so's this boot.
And welcome everybody once again to the Animaniacast. This is the only podcast out there that's dedicated to the animated television series Animaniacs. And of course, here we talk about every episode of the cartoon series, episode by episode. We talk about all the cultural references and gags that we can, and in the end, we give each episode a Water Tower rating. And we also talk about, things like Pinky and the Brain, Tiny Toon Adventures, and Freakazoid. And today, we're talking about another Animaniacs comic book and the upcoming Animaniacs Reboot. So it's like the past and the future are all here together. I am Joey, and joining me once again, this time right next to me, is my brother Nathan.
Bonjour, Pee-wee. I mean, Joey.
Doing Pee-wee's Big Adventure references now, okay. And across the country in Georgia, it's Kelly.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Yes, we have a wonderful comic book to review.
Be our guest.
Be our guest to read this comic book. Yes, today we're going to be talking about your reactions, ladies and gentlemen, to, or at least are you excited about the Animaniacs revival reboot yet still? Are you? Maybe? Well, we'll find out.
Do you know that there's a reboot?
Do you even know? Some people still don't know, and I wonder why. Could it be because Warner Brothers isn't really promoting it that much? I don't know. I think it is.
We'll do the work for them.
That's right. Yes. Warner Brothers is scheduled to have a Animaniacs reboot this year, 2020, at some point. We've heard sometimes it's the fall. And then we heard sometimes that through some sources that it was actually going to be the summer. But honestly, it's kind of hard to tell, especially because, well, it's Hulu and streaming media, and they don't play by the rules of normal, terrestrial television stations or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
They're just like,
networks.
We'll put them out whenever. And we'll put it out once a week. By the way, what would you guys prefer? Would you prefer the entire season of Animaniacs all at once, or would you like the Mandalorian approach, where we have an episode and then you wait a week till the next one comes out? Nathan, what do you think?
I want them all at once. That's it.
And Kelly, what about you?
I like them weekly because I always feel like I'm behind because, a show will have just come out like on a Friday evening, and by the end of the weekend, people have seen every episode. And I mean, I have a life. I do other things besides watch TV. So I usually can't binge watch like that on a regular basis. I mean, maybe every once in a blue moon, but I kind of like to know I'm at the same pace of watching something that everybody else is. And you can all talk about the same episode and realize you're having sort of the same experience, even though you don't have that community feeling of everybody sitting around the TV Saturday night, 8:00, watching the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, # still not bitter at ABC. But, it's sort of like that old fashioned feeling of everybody watching the same thing at the same time, even though it's not precisely that.
Well, the one thing I have heard through a recent Rob Paulson appearance, I think it was during one of his book signings or something, that he said that it is a longer show. Like, there's fewer episodes per season, but the episodes are longer. Because they're not 20 minutes or 22, 23 minutes long. I think they take up the full half hour is what I heard.
Makes sense.
Yeah, which is cool. But again, it's, who knows what Hulu's going to do. Is it going to be once a week or not? I don't know how they're approaching the Thundercats Go thing just came out, but I'm totally out of the loop on that. I know they released the first 2 episodes. So, I don't know. That's something to look forward to this year. We'll see. Personally, I would like it to be once a week also, because then I don't have to worry about people discussing it, trying to discuss it with us online and everything, and I have no idea what they're talking about.
Because we haven't seen it.
That's
true.
Yeah, I would have to watch the entire thing.
But if it's all out at once, we could just record all the episodes in one day.
That won't take much time at all.
And we're set for like 2 months.
Well, let's go ahead and get to our responses from some folks here, because we asked folks on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, are you excited? Are you anxious? Are you hungry? What are your feelings about the Animaniacs reboot coming out this year? And we had some responses on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, and also some emails. So we're going to start off with the emails first. This first one comes from Camille, and Camille says, I'm looking forward to seeing them make fun of celebrities and fashion trends we have nowadays. It'll be golden. Though I'm sort of worried about them destroying the classic animation style because, let's be honest, reboots usually do that. I'm keeping my Hulu subscription specifically for Rick and Morty and the Animaniacs reboot. LOL. One more thing I'm excited for is to hear Jess, Tress, and Rob again. I freaking love them. And I censored what she really said.
Oh boy!
But it was
she said she didn't like him.
No, it was bigger than freaking like him.
Oh,
okay. The other one is from Wesley. Wesley says, subject, Animaniacs! ! I'm excited to see what topics the reboot will make fun of / cover. Then going over to Ramonte, who says, I'm very excited for the reboot. I can't wait to get a good look at the art style, new characters, and the animation, but most importantly, the Warner siblings and Pinky and the Brain. Narf! The next email is from William, who says, subject is Reboot Opinions, and he says, hello, Animaniacast! With the reboot coming sooner and sooner, with some of the news coming left and right when it does come out, I can honestly say I'm still excited. While, yes, many characters may not be returning, and some totally will not, with some of them it kind of made sense. Animaniacs was, at times, very contemporary, with video store references, gags about Bill Clinton, and sketches featuring Goodfellas parodies. So in a lot of ways, it would make sense that some of the things would have been tweaked to work in a modern sense. The art style, however, may not be as big as you think. When we were talking about them being stretched and everything, I think that's what he's referring to. So maybe not as different as we think. Tress had actually been talking about freehand sketches the artists were making during recordings, rather than the actual art itself, from listening closer to the interview you had mentioned. Okay, so maybe the art style is not so different after all. Sure. Maybe it's just the storyboard artists with their little, stuff going on.
But do they have more to say?
We'll see.
Yeah,
and while if Steven is disappointed in the art or not, I have no clue. But with Warner Brothers' need to get things perfect with the similarly upcoming Looney Tunes cartoons and the already released semi-reboot of the new Scooby-Doo movies and its Harley Quinn animated series, I'm not too worried. That's true. Have you seen the promos and stuff for the Harley Quinn series?
No.
It looks cool. It's much more adult, but it still looks like it's in the style of the Batman animated series and stuff. So, and yes, he keeps going. It's a good email, but there's a lot of stuff here. And yes, some of the things that they've been doing didn't seem to make sense at first. Tom and a majority of the original staff not being asked to return seemed to be an oversight. However, with the recent news that Paul Rugg actually had been asked to return but said no, and Randy Rogel and the Bernsteins being asked to return and accepting, I do hold at least some kind of hope in that regard that NDAs are a pain and some more may have been asked to return but can't say anything. But what do I know? So, maybe there's some other writers out there that came back from the original series, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure about that, but we'll see. All in all, hopeful, anxious, and with a twist of lime. But I'll be watching just as much as you folks. With love, Danny. So that was from Danny.
Yeah.
So there we go.
There was a Paul Rugg video recently that is he doing like a Freakazoid thing or something? Did we ever talk about that?
We haven't. We should. Okay, thank you, Nathan, for reminding me about it, because that happened weeks and weeks ago.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh, that was a really cool video. And then I never spoke about it. We never
talk about it on the Freakazoid episodes.
I've never talked to you about it.
Yeah. So recently, Paul Rugg was on Instagram, and he said he was up for a gig, and he had to do his vocal warm-up. And let's go ahead and play the clip right here.
Everybody, it's Paul. It's Wednesday morning. I wrapped the Henson show last night. This morning I'm in Burbank to do a voice of a character I thought I never would again, which is kind of exciting. Anyway, I better get in there. But before I do that, I should do my vocal warm-ups. Anyway, have a good day, everybody.
So that definitely sounded like Freakazoid flying.
Yeah.
And so I kind of get the feeling I don't think they're doing a Freakazoid reboot. I think they would be more likely to do a Freakazoid cameo appearance in an episode of Animaniacs.
And so he's outside the Warner Brothers studios, right?
That looked like I'm not absolutely sure, but it looked like the sound studio for Warner Brothers. Although they didn't, I think it was now that you mention it, I think at that same, it was the Warner Brothers studio.
Okay, so
because he was on Instagram showing himself walking around the studio. So he was definitely on the Warner Brother lot, and he was recording some, possibly, let's face it, he was recording something Freakazoid
something related with Freakazoid. We don't know what for and what capacity, but possibly a cameo on Animaniacs.
That's what I put my money on.
Yeah.
Because I think something like saying Freakazoid is getting rebooted would actually get announced.
Yeah, and that would be a much bigger. I would be super excited for that.
Yeah. Well, anyway. Next one here says Animaniacs Reboot. Heck yes. Being an avid fan of Animaniacs and was alive when it was airing on Kids WB and when it went to Nicktoons, I'm really excited to see how they do this, because honestly, I don't know how they can mess this up, but I'm kind of the person who would get upset if it wasn't like how it was back then. If specifically there was something I'm looking for, I want that humor to come through from the original stuff, like no fingerprints, or do you expect a poor innocent child to climb up dangerous scaffolding and paint naked people all over our church? We'll do it. But we're not doing sacred art. We're not doing it for sake of money. No, we're doing it because we like painting naked people. Very good. This Golden Girl sent this, and she put down like that entire quote. She knows that off the top of her head. She loves Hooked on a Ceiling, which is awesome. Finally, she says, it's the humor that I feel is crucial to the art of the show's writing that made it so unbelievably awesome, and I totally agree. 100% Golden Girl. The writing, in my mind, comes first, and that is why I'm always in the back of my head going, gosh darn it, why didn't they get Tom Ruger on the show again? Hello, the guy who get together so many of the fantastic writers to begin with.
Yeah.
If you want the show to be like it was before, which so many people do, kind of missed opportunity there, in my opinion. But that's just me. We'll see what happens. Kelly, what did people have to say on Twitter?
Well, we had quite a few responses on Twitter. One of the more interesting ones was by somebody who's working on the show. Twitter handle is Lee's Name Here. And she said that it's really fun / agonizing watching us speculate because she can't wait for everyone to see how good it is. And so that gives us hope. And,
yes, definitely.
That people working on it are excited, and when people working on something that they love, it bleeds into the project. I think
so too, and that's what I kind of got from Rob Paulson's book, is that it was kind of cool for him working on the reboot now and seeing and meeting the writers who were kids,
grew up watching the show,
and now they're writing for the show, which is cute, which is cool. I like that too.
And one of the other comments was from A let's see, AG. I'm trying to read the whole name. It looks like it's cut off on my screen. AG is soon FCC.
You got to be careful what you read because you never know if you're going to read somebody's Twitter handle
and it's just like
completely offensive.
Yeah.
Well,
you put these letters together and you're like, oh.
The is AGC Vetus.
All right. Twitter plug.
All right. So, sorry for completely skewering that name. But they say I had the biggest cartoon crush on Yakko years back. And later at Comic-Con, I think Yakko Pinky did a stand-in VA for a panel, and after took a sweet moment to sign my sketchbook. It's been on my wall ever since. So they met Rob Paulson, and big fans. That's the first time I think I've heard of anybody having a crush on one of the Animaniacs. So.
Yeah. I mean,
they're out there.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Good. Not me, but and, it's, whatever.
One of the ones that I really enjoyed was from Chris Altruda73, said, I'm looking forward to the devastating and deserved skewering of social media.
Yes. It was kind of a little negging right there, but I think he is making kind of a tongue-in-cheek point right there that no matter what happens, people are going to skewer this thing online.
Yeah.
Which is true.
There's going to be people that do that.
I just like the way it's written. I mean, devastating and deserved skewering.
Yes.
That sounds like something I would write. It's very dark.
Very dark humor. Yeah, which is true. I mean, but for the record, we're going to try to, whether we like the reboot or not, we're going to try to be as impartial and we're not a negative podcast.
Try to be positive.
We're going to try to be as positive as we can. Even if it's horrible, we'll try to say nice things.
Say what audience would like it, because there's an audience for everything.
There's an audience for everything, so. Even horrible things. But hopefully this is not horrible.
Yeah.
We're going to keep an open mind. But anyway, what else?
Right, we're not the Star Wars fandom.
Yeah, exactly. Not yet.
Oh, gosh. I've had to mute so many words on Twitter. It's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, okay, it's just Baby Yoda from here on out. That's Baby Yoda. Nobody hates Baby Yoda.
Right?
Yeah.
And then Retrofloof wrote, in my honest opinion, I still think it'll be good, even though there will be no Slappy, Good Feathers, etc. Spielberg is directing, and here we have to insert my little notation that he's actually producing. But
yeah.
And the original voice cast for Yakko, Wacko, and Dot and PATB are coming back.
Pinky and the Brain.
I was had to think about what does that mean. I know it.
Who's Padba?
Yeah. So that's very positive, and I kudos to them for mentioning his wonderfulness, Spielberg.
Eminence.
Eminence, yes. His eminence. Okay, and then one of the final comments is from Flutter Pony Legends. And they're excited for the Animaniacs reboot in that the original voice cast is returning, the animation having potential to be traditionally animated with beautiful looking visuals and smooth movements, and hearing the music having a full orchestra.
That is true. I can't wait for the full orchestra. Mm-hmm. That is yeah. We've had some conversations off the air, basically saying that was pretty much the best decision that the folks have made publicly, even though they haven't announced it publicly. We had to kind of like find it through the social media channels, was hiring the Bernsteins to come back.
And the voice actors.
Yes.
I mean, that's not even really public.
They didn't even put that out publicly. It drives me nuts. We put out over 2 years ago, they put out this thing saying, hey, reboot's coming, and then like a month or so later they say, hey, and Leslie Wild's going to be the showrunner, and then silence when it came to like anything official press releases, nothing, which is just so frustrating. Everything that we found is just through people posting online, hey, I'm doing a storyboard, or I'm going to be in music, or
I wrote this book, and
I wrote the book. and we're recording the reboot, and that's how the announcement comes through. Oh, well, it's very frustrating. Warner Brothers, get your stuff together. Come on, folks.
Seriously.
Well, we're doing all the work
we're doing
for
the
them.
investigative reporting.
Yeah, and we're doing all that stuff. So
Nobody would even know about it if not for us.
Right?
Seriously, come on. Well, they would have, but not as
Yeah.
fast. Anyway, Nathan, what do we got on Facebook?
Oh, we got some comments.
Yay.
Some people are saying they can't wait. They've been watching the reruns, and they've got the DVDs on the whole series on DVD. Okay. So, like Alan Davis says, I'm excited as well. I hope for the return of such characters as Slappy and Skippy. My only concern is the animation, though. Better not look like today's trash. Tony Gorey says, I'm going to get a little hype for it. Invader Zim and Rocco's return was really good, so I hope this will be up to there.
I did see the Invader Zim later thing. Was good. It was pretty good. I liked it. I haven't seen Rocco because I wasn't a huge fan of Rocco when it was originally
I didn't
out.
watch it either. But I heard good things.
Yeah, I heard good things.
Martinez Valles says, I just cannot wait. Jess Harnell said, there is so much more things to make fun of than before. And then big smiley face. And Sanjay Das says, I too am anxious to see the designs and animation of the reboot. Who knows? They may even give Minerva Mink a second chance. I don't know if that's...
I wouldn't hold my breath, but you never know.
Who knows?
Well, side note.
Yeah.
Okay. There's some other stuff going on about when it comes to release dates, and a lot of people are going to IMDb.
It has a release date on IMDb.
It has a release date on IMDb, and it also lists characters like Minerva Mink and Rita and all these other things. And we're like, I forget the actor, but somebody, not Chick Venera, but somebody else put down as Pesto. It makes zero sense.
Yeah.
And then other wiki sites such as Fandom, I think it's fandom.com or whatever Fandom is. It's like, a collection of wiki sites like Animaniacs and, Wikipedia and everything. Ran with it and released on Twitter, which got retweeted
Confirmed
a lot,
dates,
confirming Animaniacs is this the I'm like, no, it's not confirmed. It's just some person put it on.
Not to say that won't be the release date.
It could be.
But there's no confirmation for it.
But it's the stuff on IMDb. My understanding is all you need is a pro account.
Yeah.
You pay for a pro account, and then you can go into IMDb and edit stuff. And I've seen, and Animaniacs fans, I love you, but some of you are weirdos. And
it's talking to me.
I know, but there's some people out there a while ago. This is a year or so or two ago. They put like an Animaniacs movie, and they put a description, and they put the cast, and they put everything on there. I'm under the. My feeling is whoever put in that probably went in. They used their pro account and also put this stuff in too. It's a joke, but
I mean, it's going to be somewhat in that time zone. Like it's give or take.
It is going to be this
3
year.
months. Yeah, exactly. Give or take 3 months from.
Yeah, 3 months before or after or during that time.
Yeah.
It's just so aggravating. Anyway, my point is, IMDb, it's usually okay, but usually I would not use IMDb to look at stuff before the movie or TV show comes out, because usually it could be totally wrong, especially for something where there's a high interest on this, where somebody could be willing to just mess with people. And
and also things with low interest, you also have to watch out, because like only one person has put stuff on it.
Yeah, so
it's got to be something that's like currently on is usually pretty good.
Yeah,
whereas there's constantly people.
Yeah. Ugh.
I don't know.
Aggravation. That's been my life this past week with people with that stuff. Continue, Nathan. What else we got?
So Ryan Campbell says, I'm really hoping it's more like traditional animation and not what you see in newer cartoons.
People have a problem with these newer cartoons.
I don't know
like
what
this
these
crap and this junk and this.
Yeah. I like Rick and Morty. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah. Martine Kuna says, I don't want to be negative, but the fact that they've been so secretive about it, I'm here just hoping it feels more like a continuation. So I was like, yeah. Eric Dwayne Murray says, I'm hyped for it. I'm wondering about what the animation will look like. It better not be hideous. So again, animation.
People are very concerned about this animation. And I am too.
Mike Russo says, and of course that poster is just old art. I don't expect the characters to look like that. My expectation for the reboot in general are just not very high. So I don't know. Some mixed. We got some very high expectations and some cautious.
Yeah,
optimism.
it looks a little cautiously optimistic on Facebook. On Instagram, I think they were pretty positive. Miss Cunningham 11 said, "Cannot wait." Sijaz Candle said, "I could email you or I could publicly post on your Instagram hoping that official Bernadette Peters reprises her role as Rita." Well, who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
Maybe that did it. Gary King Art says, "Can you give me a job as writer?" No.
Kelly?
I
No.
can't. No. Okay.
Okay.
We said no. Unfortunately, we don't have that power.
Sorry.
Cinderella Undercover said, "Me. I just hope it stays true to the original." Anna Cortez says, "I'm so excited." Casper Paul says, "I'm looking forward to it." Lovely Lily says, "I'm so excited for this. I want to see if they can make fun of stuff like Vine and TikTok." Vine and TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh, you millennials with your Vine and your TikToks. She says,
We'll
it'll
see.
be interesting to say the least. Heck, it could even parody Let's Players or ASMR channels. And it'd still be funny. I have no idea what Let's Players is. I know what ASMR is because
Yeah.
I hate that. And they might make fun of that. I think it would be cool.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, you do or don't.
I don't.
ASMR?
Oh, we should do some
we should
ASMR on this.
Okay. Ladies and
That
gentlemen,
sounds kinky.
this is okay. Hang on one second. Okay, this is the Animaniacast with ASMR.
What?
This is the Animaniacast. We're zany to the max.
That's very good. I don't think Kelly can hear us.
No, she can't. Okay.
All right, that
What are
was
you doing?
We're doing ASMR. Yeah, okay.
What is it?
Well, it's just talking really soft into the microphone and making
little
crunchy sounds.
audio sensory meridian response.
Yeah.
Oh,
Audio
That's a
sensory meridian
thing?
response, I think.
That is a thing.
get off my lawn.
You get like
Get
brain
off my
Get
lawn.
off my
brain
lawn.
tingles in the back of your
Oh, gosh.
head.
Yeah, but we did it.
There you
There we
go.
go, folks. We did it for you.
Watching Bob Ross. It's
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Oh, I love Bob Ross.
Well, there you go. Getcha Rainbow QT. There we go. Says, "I'm so excited that I can't flip and wait." And John T 26554 says he's really looking forward to seeing the reboot and hoping it stays to the spirit of the original. That is a very common sentiment right there. Can't wait to see Yakko, Wacko, and their sister Dot, along with Pinky and the Brain. I read that the Goodfeathers is not coming back, but I hope Slappy Squirrel comes back. I got some bad news for you, John. Probably not, or at least not as Sherry Stoner.
Yeah.
Is what we're hearing.
And then
Who knows? I really, you know, what would be worse, Slappy not coming back or Slappy being voiced as somebody else?
I don't.
I would say don't bring her back.
Yeah, I think I'd prefer
Don't bring
not
her
to
back,
be back.
if you're going to voice her by somebody else. Just don't even bother.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
That's not right. It's not right, I tells you. But I don't think she's going to be voiced by anybody else. I just don't think they're going to have her, which is bad.
I mean,
but who knows? I mean,
I can see her being drawn in the background.
If they're putting on, if we're right and they're going to have Freakazoid as a cameo. Heck, put Slappy in as a cameo.
Yeah,
why the heck not? Okay, we have one last response to make sure we get in, and I just wanted to make sure we put this one in because this is a person who is, I think, a respected member of the Animaniacs community. This is what this person said, and by the way, they did want to remain anonymous, so I'm not going to tell you who it's from. So here we go. They say, "Normally I like to keep opinions to myself on subjects of this nature, but Animaniacs is my weakness. Also, I'm tired of people saying Steven Spielberg's involvement guarantees a successful reboot when it was Tom Ruegger who created the show. The fact that Tom Ruegger and just about anybody who has ever worked with him has been snubbed and perhaps blacklisted from the show indicates a few things to me. Either/or, A, they do not like Tom's style of humor,
they do not respect what has come before. B. There's a big ego higher up that wants all the credit for this show. Also, Sam Register has stated his philosophy on reboots is to distance them as much as possible from the source material so as not to invite comparison. I think there's a ton of incredible talents working on the show, but without the guidance from people upstairs who really want Animaniacs to be another link in the legacy of great WB cartoons, I don't think the show we will get will feel much like Animaniacs. I imagine it might be funny in its own way, but feel hollow to fans of the original show. Anyway, that's my very biased opinion as someone who tried to get on the show but couldn't make it through. So take it with a grain of salt. So thank you so much to that person for submitting their thoughts, and to all of our listeners who submitted their thoughts as well. And now back to the previously recorded part of the show.
Anyway, let's go ahead and let's give our sentiments. So, guys, what are your thoughts about Animaniacs? We're going to continue to talk about this reboot and our thoughts and our feelings about it. But where are you right now with it, Kelly? Where are you currently with your anticipation? Are you excited?
No, I mean, I don't have enough information, and I don't know when it's coming out exactly. So it's hard to look forward to it.
Yep.
So, I mean, when it gets here, I'll weigh in.
Yeah. It'd be nice to see a trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know a lot more about West Side Story that's coming out in December than I do about the Animaniacs, which is also supposed to come out this week. So, and West Side Story, by the way, is directed by Steven Spielberg.
Yes.
So, I mean, we know he's got one project this year that is being promoted pretty heavily. So
yeah, pretty well. Like the photos here and there of the making, and I honestly, it is very, like it said on Facebook, it is very concerning and kind of curious as to why they're not, is something as a property as big as Animaniacs, why Warner Brothers is not talking it up a little bit and showing like Leslie Wild talking about how happy he is to work and how much he loved working on Animaniacs as a kid, watching it as a kid, I'm sure, right?
Fun it was to produce it now. And
how much he loves all the writers and everything. So, yeah, you never know. So,
well, they may be, I mean, I think we kind of mentioned before about the reaction to Sonic.
Yeah.
And of course, with the fan reaction to the last, the Rise of Skywalker, the social media hordes are just so vitriolic.
Yeah.
And when they feel passionately about something, and we've seen that fans feel passionately about Animaniacs. So if they release, say, a trailer now, but the show's not coming out until September, people are going to complain. I was going to use another word, but we're family friendly. Complain about it. But from now until September, but because they've only seen a snippet, and they haven't seen maybe the joke in context, and so maybe what they're wanting to do, I mean, I'm just hypothesizing, is get as close to showing us the finished product, so hype is building, people are talking about it. It's not like it's existing in a vacuum, so things are moving along. But they may just want to not bring a lot of negativity, because it's going to come, whether the end product is great or not. I mean, people are going to hate on it.
Yeah, like they said on Twitter,
regardless.
The skewering online of social media.
Yeah, and I agree with it.
Yeah, it's gonna come, and that's the challenge. Okay, and like Thundercats Go, like I've heard, like so many people skewered that online. They were like, "Oh, it looks horrible," and now they've released the first 2 episodes, and I've gotten really mixed reactions. That some people say, "Oh, it's not that bad. I liked it," and other people going, "No, it's ruined. You ruined it. You had it, and you ruined it."
Yeah, no matter what, we're still gonna have the original Animaniacs. So there's like
the voices will be there. I mean, yeah, you gotta have, at least they're doing, and the music.
And they're not deleting the episodes that you already love.
That's very true. So the originals will thankfully always be there. Thank goodness. Nathan, so what are you thinking?
I'm just going to go with probably low expectations as I go within everything I watch nowadays.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't like being disappointed, so I like being pleasantly surprised. So that will be my goal.
Well, hopefully you will.
Yep.
All right. Well, yeah, and that's me too. Just kind of, keeping expectations in check. I'm hoping for the best. I'm not expecting the worst, but I'm hoping for something good. I'm expecting something
Not good.
I'm expecting something that the people worked very hard at.
I'm expecting that there'll be people that will like it.
Yes. I'm expecting that the end product will be nice, especially when the people, like, we've talked to some of the artists on social media and, off the record stuff with some of the writers and stuff like that. And they do say that they believe everybody has their heart in the right place that is working on the show. Other than one exception, which I won't get into on here.
I know what you're talking about.
He knows what I'm talking about. And I'm not going to, I will never say that on anything, but there was one big concern that we had when we were talking to somebody involved in the production, which they were completely off the record. So I'm not going to say any more than that, but they were not happy about one thing on the reboot.
But the rest have all been.
But besides that, everybody was like, hey, no, it was a great experience.
Yeah.
So one person had a bad experience, and they told me about it, and I was like, oh, that's bad. But other than that, it's all good. So we'll see what happens.
I'm an animaniac. Some people say I'm not a whack. You can't miss our wild show with my cute sis and my bro. We all act like we're insane, along with Pinky and the Brain, Bobby Squid and Pesto, Scratch and Sniff, Hip Hip Hose, Rito Runt, Chicken Boo, Slappy too. We dance and sing and do all kinds of crazy things. Oh, we're the amazing Animaniacs. We'll split your sides in half. We are the most exciting ever. So watch us 'cause you'll love us. We'll be on your TV weekday afternoons right here on Fox.
Here we go. Let's go and talk about an Animaniacs comic book. This is Animaniacs issue number 18, called Animaniacs Go to France. Animaniacs Go to France. And what a great French accent I have.
Yep.
And this cover right here, Nathan and I were talking about it beforehand. This might be the highlight of the whole issue.
Yeah, I think so.
Before we talk about it, let's talk about where you can get this comic book. You can find this comic book like I did online. If you go and purchase it, you can purchase it online at various comic book retailers. I was surprised to find out today that I had a mint in. It was one of these polybagged things from the 90s, and it comes with a bonus little mini magazine in here about snowboarding and music and movies and comics. So it's called On the Edge. So I can learn all about movies like Robinson Crusoe that's coming out, or Matilda.
Bonus.
Yeah. Or The Adventures of Pinocchio with Jonathan Taylor Thomas. But it's a lot about snowboarding and like extreme. You want to be an extreme teenager in the 90s. There you go. By the way, nothing girl related in this. This is very
girls
much
like snowboarding.
Girls do like snowboarding, but they are very much like, this is a comic book.
Yeah,
this is
they
a
don't show
magazine
girls
for boys.
Snowboarding. Yeah,
This is totally for boys. So a little disappointed that they decided to pack with an Animaniacs comic something that's so aimed towards boys. But whatever. There's a little bonus for you. There you go, Nathan. Have that. That's all yours. But the comic book itself is really cool. On the and we should, by the way, mention, if you can't find it online and purchase it, there are places that you can go to online that have scanned it. But there are, like we say always, there are pop-up ads that are insane.
Possible viruses.
If you click on them. And we held no responsibility about how family-friendly those pop-up ads are, because some of them are pretty risque is putting it lightly.
I got one of those.
Yeah.
I was like, really? On an Animaniacs comic?
Yep. So, yeah, you have to be careful with those pop-up ads. So, supervise your children if you're going to read these comic books online with them. At any rate, Animaniacs Go to France, issue number 18. The date on this is October of 1996, and the cover is pretty darn cool. It's a parody of Toulouse What's this guy? What was the artist's names here, Nathan? He's the short guy in
Toulouse-Lautrec.
Yeah, Toulouse-Lautrec. And the parody is of this can dancer, Jane Avril Jardin de Paris, whatever.
That's exactly how you pronounce it.
I will say it the totally incorrect way. Jane Avril Jardin de Paris. There you go. So that's how the
Jane
Americans
Avril.
say it. But it's a very cool comic because it takes that style that essentially takes that can dancer, and the Warners are put next to her. Slappy Squirrel is. It looks like Napoleon, possibly Mozart, I guess.
I was like thinking maybe,
or
like
maybe that's
King
a Louis. King
Yeah.
Louis. Yeah.
I thought it was Louis the 16th.
Okay, yeah. You can see that big hair that he has. Okay. We have Gerard Depardieu. We have Pepe Le Pew. We have some other, it looks like a guy that might be Ronald Reagan and Marcel Marceau, and I don't know who that woman is. It kind of looks
Madonna
like...
is French-Canadian.
It kind of looks
Janice
like...
from the Muppets.
That's exactly. It looks like Janice from the Muppets. And then some other random French guy. And, of course, a candlestick. You see that little candlestick guy there?
Yeah.
Kelly?
Lumiere.
Lumiere is on there. That was the coolest thing, to see a Disney character on the cover of an Animaniacs comic. So,
But he's not very obvious. You have to kind of look.
yeah. He's kind of close to Gerard Depardieu, which I don't know if people would know it's even Gerard Depardieu if they didn't make fun of him in this comic book within it. But a very good cover. It looks like this was done by Walter Carzon and Horatio Ottolini. And what? Indiana has something to say. Hang on.
Evidently.
I think he might be done.
He went back downstairs. He was up right outside my room.
Oh. But this is an awesome cover by Walter Carzon and Horatio Ottolini. And like Nathan and I were saying, this is maybe the best part of the comic.
It's very artistic.
It is very cool. Kelly, any thoughts on this cover?
It is very Moulin Rouge, I guess. And
Oui.
Speaking of Toulouse-Lautrec, he was a character in Moulin Rouge because he was a French artist at that time.
Spectacular.
Yep.
Wow. So yes, a very, very nice cover. And then we open up the comic book, and it's not as good.
I thought you were saying about the Teen Titans.
Well, the Teen Titans, there's a little ad for Teen Titans, which do not look like any of the Teen Titans I'm used to seeing.
Yeah, there's like
today.
no Robin even on there.
Yeah, it says retro name, new attitude, Teen Titans. Don't miss the Teen Titans sneak preview on Superman number. Okay, whatever. That was one of their various reboots of Teen Titans comic, I'm sure. The first comic that we have to talk about is featuring the Warners going to France, and it is entitled Doop De Jour. And Doop De Jour was... Oh, hang on. They put the who wrote this one on the second page, so I have to flip the page. Doop De Jour was written by Dana Curtin and Dan Slott. The penciler was Omar Aranda from Soul Studio. Inker was Scott McRae. Letterer was Teresa Davidson. Colorist was Grace T. Bland. The colors were not bland at all.
I know. I'm like, what?
Well, Kelly, tell us what happens here in Doop De Jour.
Well, the Animaniacs arrive somewhere, and they think they're at Six Flags over Flushing. But it turns out that they're actually in Paris. Or France, but I think it's pretty obvious it's Paris.
Yeah, I see an Eiffel Tower.
Okay,
Right.
they're there.
So, they're outside a restaurant, and they decide they want to get some French fries. And the garçon is their new best friend, and they try to order French fries, and he's kind of ignoring them at first, and then they start yelling at him, and trying to get his attention, and then he finally tells them to go away. They see a woman, and instead of hello nurse, they say bonjour nurse. They continue to annoy him, and he's speaking a little bit of French mixed with English, and so I don't know how much they're actually understanding him. But they finally get inside and get a table, and they still want to know where the French fries are. And they're reading from the menu, and Yakko says, all I see here is horse Steve forces. And
That was the
Dot
best
says-
joke in the comic
It's
right
not
there.
a very good joke
And
either.
it's not that good.
And Dot says, oh, poor horse. And so the garçon says, they're hors d'oeuvres. He says to Dot, would you like a quiche to start? And she says, well, I don't usually on the first date, but if you insist.
I like that one. I think that
okay,
was
that
my
was a
favorite.
okay.
That
I
was
want- Kelly said it right. I guess I made
Yeah, I
it
want a
funnier.
quiche.
So, and she tells him that she just loves his accents, and the boys are, say, girls, Frenchmen, go fig. So, they still keep trying to order French fries. There's all these jokes, talking about French dip. Is he calling me a dip? And escargot. You
Bad
want Oscar
puns.
Go.
Yeah,
I
they're
mean,
really,
it's just-
really poorly constructed puns when it comes down to a lot of them. It just keeps going and going, and I'm like, oh, get on with it.
Like, let's get a story on this, maybe.
Are we going?
Yeah. Well, and then they finally find out that the guy's not even French. He's actually from Jersey. He says, you've discovered my secret. Then he tells them that, they can stay and eat whatever. And there's the Grey Poupon joke in it.
Yeah,
Which one?
gotta throw that in.
One would expect. I mean, it's even in Wayne's World, so, I mean, it was very popular back in the 90s.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They are talking about French fries again, but now they're using the French term or they're trying to understand what he's talking about with the pommes frites,
Right.
which may or may not be pronouncing correctly. But they kind of write it out when they misinterpret it, so I'm thinking that's how you might say it.
Mhm.
So they continue to talk about the bomb frites.
Or Wacko does at least, because he goes into the kitchen to look for these bomb frites or whatever.
Pommes
Yeah.
frites and bomb frites.
He's totally misinterpreting. He thinks it's a bomb, and
So they've destroyed the restaurant, and then drat! I lost the page. And I'm getting crazy pop-ups.
oh, there you go.
See, there you go.
There you go. Gotta be careful.
He somehow created an actual bomb.
Yeah, somehow, I'll help you out here, Kelly. Sometimes Wacko goes in there, and then somehow he creates a bomb, and the whole kitchen explodes. And so they say you have to pay for the bill. He goes, what do you mean? I don't owe
Just more
Bill
puns.
any
Right.
money.
Like, yeah,
You have to
Kelly
pay
finished it off.
pay
Oh.
the bill, and I don't owe Bill any money. Like, yeah, try that joke. It's real hilarious.
It's really good.
I mean, next time you have to go to the restaurant. Anyway,
It's a bad dad joke.
everything's bad dad jokes in this one. And I know bad dad jokes. Anyway. So the basically kind of ends in just like I guess at the very end, the people that they were going to meet at Six Flags come in, right?
Well,
And-
their names are Oscar, Patty, Claire, Bill, and Frank.
oh, so that's how like it just everything
Those
that they
are
were
all
mentioning.
puns of
Yeah,
the names.
the Franks. They were mentioning about paying with Franks, and I'm not
Mhm.
going to pay with Frank, and
Have Frank
it
pay
all
for himself.
paid
Yeah.
off at the end.
What a great payoff for all those jokes.
They all came at the end. Well, this is like, okay, I think we all kind of get our opinions right there through our groaning. But Kelly, were there any parts in this that you really that were particularly funny or amusing for you in this first comic?
Well, I already read them out. The quiche one was kind of cute.
Yeah,
and-
Quiche, you read that right. I liked it a lot more after I heard you say it right. I'm like,
Oh,
okay, that's good. Kelly made it funny for me.
Okay.
Nathan, anything for you?
The whole smelling of wine
Yeah,
thing was a weird.
Yeah, we are introduced in this comic to the Dot having this great
super
sense
nose.
super. She's not a super taster, but she's a super sniffer,
Smeller, yeah.
super smeller, and she could smell like every little details about wine or about any elephant that you put in front of her, and that's how they discover that the waiter, when she sniffs him, she says, "You're from New Jersey," because she could smell New Jersey on him or something, which I hear is possible, perhaps. I guess.
I mean, I guess it's an interesting plot device to somewhat further the story, although it's never like brought up again. Really, it doesn't really have any whatever.
Let's talk about some. Let's move on.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that.
I mean, animation wise, it was fine.
Animation. Yeah, I thought the animation could have been a lot better, Nathan. They didn't move at all.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, well, anyway, good idea. French idea. There's a few of these in the comic, and I'm just going to go through them all right now. Good idea, bad idea. It's funny. Mr. Skullhead. Well, they decided to do good idea, French idea in this one, where instead of that funny thing, they did this not funny thing. So, I mean,
what if instead of he was Skullhead, he was just doing French things?
They should have at least done Mr. Skullhead, but they don't. They have a French guy with a beret and a striped shirt. He looks very French. So it says the good idea is taking your dog for a walk. The French idea is taking your dog to the Louvre. The good idea is throwing your dog a bone. The French idea is throwing your dog a baguette. The good idea is playing tug of war with your dog. The French idea is playing war with your dog.
Like that last one doesn't even have anything to do with French, right?
Yeah,
I mean, French have gone to war.
French have gone to war before, but even isn't the joke supposed to be like French always like are the people who say I give up? Isn't that the commonplace joke in cartoons and everything? Anyway, good idea, saying it with flowers. The French idea is saying it in French. The good idea is getting a haircut. The French idea is starting at the neck, which means like you're going to put you in the guillotine and cut your head off. The good idea is meeting Johnny Depp. The French idea is meeting Gerard Depardieu. And I don't know who they were modeling off of for Johnny Depp, but this guy did not look like Johnny Depp to me.
Nope.
This guy
never looked like that.
Ever. This guy looks like he's like Johnny Depp on steroids or something. Wow. So apparently the artist never saw Johnny Depp before and just said, he has black hair and he's handsome. Okay, I'll just throw a handsome guy with black hair on there and go for that. So that was good idea, French idea. We also have a little bit of a filler thing called Minerva Mink in French dressing. And Minerva Mink basically talks about, hey, everybody, everybody wants to know why I even bother getting dressed. Then I remember why. But because all the guys are hot for her. They're all drooling over her. Anyway, she shows off these little French outfits. So what I decided to do was to print these up because I had to get something out of this comic book. And actually printed up copies of these dresses and everything, and then
he started wearing them.
You made paper dolls.
I made paper dolls.
That's a whole paper doll thing.
It's a whole paper doll because you take the outfit and you put it on Minerva.
Yeah, you can cut out the outfit,
and you can do this. You can print them up off the website there, or you can scan if you have the comic book and make your own copy. And Nathan, what do you think? What's your verdict? Do the outfits fit for the most part?
3 out of 6.
3 out of 6 look great.
Yeah.
There's one where it's the red shirt and the blue jeans. I don't know if you tried that one, but it actually, when you put it together, it looks really good. Although the red shirt blends right into the red.
There's straps of her shoulders showing.
That's
it's
true.
Weird,
I had to cut off the little. I will say, if you try to do this yourself, don't worry about the little tabs that they give you. They're useless. They're stupid. Just cut off the tabs. They're not great. But yeah, it's kind of cute. It's a little activity for kids. And it is nice that on the opposite side of the dresses, they actually did put just advertisements for Kids WB.
Yeah, you're not missing out on the comic.
Yeah, you can actually cut these out in the actual comic and not miss any content, which that was cool. So yeah, not bad. I thought that was a nice little activity.
Yeah,
they've had a Chicken Boo one before, and they've had like a dot word search thing. So all in all,
this is very similar to the Chicken Boo. Which one was... this one gives you more outfits, right?
Yes, but I like Chicken Boo more. because it's
Just
chicken
as a
boo.
person. Well, I was a chicken.
Yeah, as a chicken, I like chicken boo more. Well, Nathan, let's just get on to the next comic here. The next story, I should say. It's called Slappy Time in Paris.
Hi, this is Slappy Squirrel, and unfortunately, you're listening to the Animaniacs.
And Slappy Time in Paris was written by Dana Curtin. The penciler was Leonardo Batic. The inker was Scott McCrae. The letterer was Teresa Davidson. And the colorist was Dave Tanguay. Nathan, what happens here in Slappy Time in Paris?
All right, well, Slappy has just landed where, you might ask, is France. She's in France to get an award, some sort of contribution to comedy award. And Skippy's like, well, congratulations, that's great. But Slappy's like, no, Jerry Lewis won this award. And you think he's funny? So she thinks it's a sign that her career is in the toilet if she's winning this award. And then Skippy's wondering why Slappy doesn't like French people. And then he starts going off on all these French stereotypes, saying that they're rude or that they smell or that they got hairy legs. Yeah.
Which Slappy
has all those
has
things.
all those things. She has hairy legs, and apparently she smells, and she's rude.
Yeah, we all know she's rude. So she doesn't hate the French because of that. It's just that they don't have nothing in common is her problem.
Ha ha ha.
And then, so the French guy that's going to give her the award, he informs her that she misunderstood. It's not a Medal of Honor that she's getting. It's a Marcel of Honor, Les Marcel of Honor, which is like the greatest mime, Marcel Marceau. To honor her, she gets to go around France with a mime following her.
Yeah,
or something.
who's going to teach her about French comedy.
Yeah.
I'm assuming why French comedy is so much better.
They're just going to go around the parks.
So this is the mime from Mime Time.
Yeah, so we know him. He's, the classic, funny, always getting hit with anvils and everything. And of course, like, as this guy's talking, she starts getting some explosives out. Skippy has to stop her. And then when she finds out the mime's going to follow her, she gets out the explosives again. But this time she's like, this one's for me. So she just does not want to do this at all. So, the mime's doing these crazy things, like pretending to be in a box, but then he gets hit by the Tour de France, just randomly. So Slappy really didn't do anything to him that time.
No.
I think my favorite one was when Skippy says, look, Aunt Slappy, there's the Arc de Triomphe. Is that what it's called?
Arc de Triomphe, yeah.
Yeah, and then so Slappy hits the mime with a mallet, and then Skippy's like, what'd you do that for, Aunt Slappy? And then Slappy says, didn't you say hit the mime with a mallet? No.
Like, no? Well, I'm old, so sue me.
So just like...
just any excuse to hit him on the head.
Yeah. They go to Notre Dame, and Slappy starts playing football, but the football is an exploding football.
Because it's Notre Dame, like Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's Wacko wearing pants in the background, which is very weird.
What? I didn't even see that.
When that very last panel where the mime blows up, you can see he's wearing like underpants or something.
Oh, he's wearing like... That is weird. No, he's supposed to be the hunchback. When he does wears long chainy.
Oh, I thought he was doing like
he's still wearing some sort of pant. Or no, it's just not colored right.
Are you sure?
It's the yeah.
What is he supposed to be then?
Look at the comic.
I'm looking at it. It looks like
he's
underwear.
Not colored right. It should have been colored all the way blue, but it wasn't.
See,
okay. It's under his belt.
Think so. There's definitely a black line above.
Yeah, it's his belt.
Oh,
where
the
it's
belt.
tied off.
I see.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
There we go.
Just him it just looks like he's running in underwear, which I'm like, I don't like this.
Doesn't look right.
I'm like,
makes no sense.
Never
Wacko doesn't wear any pants.
Yeah. They go to the top of the Eiffel Tower, and then, Slappy's like, what's better than an Eiffel Tower? The Hefel Tower. And that's when he gets hit by an anvil and falls through. It's hilarious. And then they go back to the restaurant that the guy was there that gave her the Marcel Marceau award. And he's like, I've been watching you this whole time. It's just so funny seeing how irritated you are at mimes. I meant to do this. You didn't win an award. And then Slappy's like, well, I did teach your mime something. And he's tying some dynamite around this guy because he was
His waist.
Yeah, he was laughing at the mime for getting hurt this whole time. And the mime gives them a thumbs up and says the end.
Blows up that guy.
Although, I mean, shouldn't he also be mad at Slippy and Slappy and Skippy for actually hurting him?
He's totally just on board at this point.
It's not their fault.
Yeah.
It's this guy's fault.
The ending right there with the mime totally on board, like, I'm not mad at you, Slappy. I'm mad at this guy for putting me with you.
Yeah, it's his fault that you beat me up and hurt me so much.
Whatever. Anyway, that's your Slappy and Skippy story. Kelly, when you read through this, was there some stuff, anything in this one that you thought was amusing?
No.
Well, Kelly already has problems with like kind of slapstick humor to begin with, and in this, it's kind of funny, I guess. The I fell and he fell.
I didn't think that was
you
funny.
fell.
Nope.
I don't know.
It wasn't funny.
Yeah, it wasn't that great. Here's the thing. Oh boy. Okay, we'll get to the water tower rating in a second. Nathan, is there anything in here in the story that you liked?
Just the hitting of the mallet, I think was.
That was a good joke. Even though it wasn't.
It wasn't a great joke, but it made me go, huh.
Okay, well, let's start. Let's finish off today's comic book with something that's I want to talk about breezing through something. So you know the Frere Jacques poem.
I know that.
Yeah. Well, Dot's French poetry corner. She just goes Frere Jacques, dormez-vous, dormez-vous. She goes, morning bells are ringing. But then when it's ding ding dong, she says hitless snooze, which I never even saw that was a joke, because it still says ding ding dong when she says, apparently in French, hitless snooze. It says ding ding dong.
Well, they're translating it, so they have the French on the top.
Yeah.
So you can learn some French here.
I guess, not really.
Frere Jacques.
Well, and at the end she says merci beaucoup, and the translation is thanks buckets.
Which is, they're doing some like silly translations.
Yeah.
And then they hit their hands together and it makes snapping noises. It's weird. And
That is weird. They're all clapping their hands and it's saying snap, 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 snap. What is going on with this comic?
This French people, they're clapping sounds so
I'm
weird.
never going to France. They clap, they snap with their hands like that.
Just whack your
They're
hands together.
aliens, I
Snap,
tell
snap,
you.
snap, snap.
They're not from this planet.
Maybe they're breaking their wrists.
Maybe.
as
Oh,
they're doing
ouch.
it.
They need more calcium in their diet.
Yeah.
Well, let's get to our water tower rating. Okay, what do you guys think? Out of 5 water towers, how many would you give Animaniacs Go to France, issue number 18? Nathan, let's start with you.
I'll give it 2. It has a theme.
It's true. It did have a theme
And
throughout.
it had some activities. So
It has a cool activity.
And there was a joke in it. So
There was
you
a
go.
joke.
2, and the cover's awesome.
Cover activities and joke equals 2 water towers.
Well, they got nothing else, Yeah, 2.
All right. And a bonus magazine.
Right? Okay, 2.2 for the bonus cover.
Nope, we got to round you down to 2.
Oh.
Kelly, what about you?
I'll be a little nicer and go with 2.5 Lumiere's on the cover.
Yeah.
And then also it's got a little bit of I don't know, I guess trivia, like not everybody would know who Marcel Marceau was, and now they know. So I'm, how I like education.
He has the only line in Mel Brooks' silent movie.
Yeah,
he says the only word. He says no, I think, and that's it.
Yeah.
So there you go. Marcel Marceau. I think he's.
Yep.
I don't think he's alive anymore. I think he died.
I don't think so. Yeah.
I think he's dead. Oh well. You know what his last words were? That was his last words.
Yep.
I just came up with that joke right now. I'm better than I could
Put
write
it
on
on
the
Twitter.
Animaniacs
Yeah.
comic.
Oh.
Okay. Well, you may not be dead also, but I think he is. So
He's pretty old.
I'm
if he's not dead.
pretty sure that mime's dead. Mallet hit on his Slappy.
I haven't heard from him for a while, that's for sure.
Oh.
This is derailing bad.
I'm giving it 2 water towers.
The joke or
This comic book broke our brains. I'm giving it 2 water towers. Just because it wasn't that funny. Done. Okay. let's go ahead and get to our contact information. Nathan, where can people get you online and say hi?
I'm on Twitter, Joey. Django FT, that's me.
And Kelly, what about you?
I'm also on Twitter at Yoda Princess, YODAPRNCSS.
All right, and also you can get us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and you can email us, animaniacast@retrozap.com. And speaking of RetroZap, that is the place to go. We are a proud member of the RetroZap Podcast Network, and you should just go ahead and go to your favorite podcast player, subscribe to the RetroZap feed, and that way you can get every single RetroZap podcast delivered right to your device for free. You can head on over to the RetroZap Discord group as well to talk to us about anything pop culture related. You can get a welcome link by going to discord.animaniacast.com. It'll send you right on over there. And head to retrozap.com every day for awesome articles and podcasts and stuff like that. Whatever you want, it's over there. And Nathan's showing me something.
He died.
That Marceau is dead.
So I feel so bad now.
With that in mind, for Nathan and Kelly, this is Joey saying good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
This podcast is not endorsed by Warner Brothers or Amblin Entertainment and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Animaniacs, Tiny Toon Adventures, Freakazoid, the Warner Brothers logo, all names, pictures, and sounds are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of the Animaniacast unless otherwise indicated.